Hello, just a little quick intro to today's show. I am tickled beyond reproach that my Cleveland Browns have made it to the playoffs this year. So, with that said, if you are a fan of the Houston Texans, I apologize in advance because you will meet your demise this weekend. And with that said, let's get on with the show. Well, hello, my friends, and welcome back to my little show. I have a few bits of random news for you to ponder on today, so let's get to it, shall we? David Ayer. He's the proverbial gift that just doesn't know how to quit giving. Will he? Won't he? Should he? Shouldn't he? I mean, I do understand the dude's frustration. I really do. Like Zack Snyder before him, WB took his film, threw it in the proverbial DC blender, chopped it all to hell into a movie that simply wasn't anything like he planned on it to be. And to put it lightly, he's, been kind of upset about it. And so, off and on ever since, he's lobbied for the release of the aforementioned Ayer cut. You know, like the one Zack Snyder had of the Justice League. That WB finally allowed to be finished and released due to fan pressure and, what I also kind of call the COVID effect. The poor guy, he just doesn't get any respect, it looks like, because the request always seems to fall upon deaf ears. Well, it did until DC entered the gun zone. I mean, Jimmy, he kind of sort of mentioned on social media that he would support the release of it should WB ever decide to do so. His support claim, it didn't really mean anything in the end, mind you. It was just gun covering his own ass. So Ayer won't be mad at him, or at least I'm guessing anyways, just in case he needed him later on. And so just last week, David Ayer, he threw in the damn towel. He said he was done groveling, begging, something along those lines, and that he was moving on to bigger and better things in his future. Life was too short, blah, blah, blah. Well, when asked about the entire debacle over at Variety recently when doing a press circuit for his upcoming movie with Jason Statham, the Beekeeper, which I'm looking forward to, I might add. I'm a big Jason Statham fan. Ayer must have needed to scratch that old itch just one last time, because now he's saying he would like to at least have a last right screening, a funeral screening, if you will. You know, kind of like they did for Batgirl when they, filed a tax loss on it. They got to play it in the parking lot. Do tell, Mr. Ayer, do tell. Well, if current yakety yak is to believe and little Jimmy Gunn doesn't debunk it, then it seems that the search is finally on for a new Supergirl. Apparently, 3 young ladies are being screen tested for the role. Millie Alcock, you got to be careful how you say that one. From Game of Thrones, House of Dragons fame, Amelia Jones from the film Coda and Netflix series Lock and Key. And finally, we have Meg Donnelly from Disney's Zombies, and who I might add is already the voice of Supergirl in the animated movies Legion of Superheroes and Justice League Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 1. Now, the Supergirl movie, Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, according to Gunn himself, is not due out until 2027, but she's supposed to make her debut in Superman Legacy next year, around with several dozen other Justice League characters. Out of those 3, my money, would be on Donnelly. I mean, she's already familiar with the character. And if you ask me, she really does kind of look like old Kara-El. Unfortunately, there's no mention of Sasha Cale, who played Supergirl in last year's The Flash movie, and that's really too bad, because to me anyway, she was the best part of the whole damn film. The 2 whiny, neurotic Barrys, they just drove me nuts. Keaton, he just seemed bored to me, and I know I'll get flamed for this, but he was boring as well. Yes, it was cool to see him in the old cowl once again, but the thrill didn't last very long with the whiny-ass Barrys tagging along. Ben Affleck and Gal Gadot, they were used for nothing more than comic relief, and so Sasha was really the one true standout of the whole entire film. Maybe all of those CGI babies were too. In my opinion, once WB and Gunn and Saffron mapped out their game plan for the new DCU, they knew the role was going to be a one-off, a throwaway if you will. And that's pretty crappy, if you ask me. Well, I hope she finds success elsewhere, because like so many others involved with DC in the past, I think she got hosed. And hey, speaking of Ben Affleck, it seems that McFarlane Toys is finally fulfilling one of my DC wishes anyways, and that's the unveiling of a new Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice Batman figure. Now, they've had the one for the Justice League and that horribly weird one for the Flash movie, but this is the one to me that's legit. It's Affleck and all of his Batman glory, and as some of you may already know, Ben's take on Batman is my favorite. It's the only one that really looks like he stepped right out of the comic book, and I'm stoked to see him done up right. And in case you're interested, pre-orders start online on January 19th, and if this turns out to be anything like the Batman Ultimate Movie 6-pack last fall, well, you may want to place your order rather quickly, or you may not get one or two or three. This just goes to show you, if McFarlane is doing this, then there must still be a large demand for good old Batfleck, and that suits me just fine. And so, my friends, this rather short show comes to an end. Tell me, what do you think? How do you feel about the possible casting of Supergirl? What do you think about the 3 young ladies that are up for the role? That, they're screen testing anyway. Doesn't mean they're going to get it. We don't really know if it's happening because, Gunn, the old floppity flip. And how about David Ayer? How do you think about him go back and forth? 1 minute he says he's done, the next minute he's not. Do you think he should just finally give it up? I don't know. Do you think WB will ever release it? I don't think they will. I mean, they wrote off Batgirl and they wanted to write off Coyote versus Acme, and I just don't think they're ready to take that chance right now. If it was like COVID and the only thing you could get to was watching something on your television instead of the movie theaters, I think they'd do it in a heartbeat because people would eat that up. But this isn't the COVID times anymore. So Mr. Ayer, it might not. It could happen on a Blu-ray or digital release. I think that would be smart. Whether they'll do it, I don't know. But anyway. And what do you think about Mr. Ben Batfleck getting that new action figure? I'm excited about it. I'll get it. I'll add it to my collection. Anyhow, thanks for hanging out with me this time. Got any comments? Leave them down below. And if you would, hit that like button and subscribe so you'll get notification for the next sock show that comes around. And as always, thanks for stopping by. God bless, and socks out.